Now, let us come to the issue of where the players get bigger than their team and perhaps challenge the authority of the coach. Nicolas Anelka, he has had a lot of problems in the past with his behavior, and he was the man who challenged coach Raymond Domenech's attitude, and then he was sent off. Then the players sort of ganged up and they refused to train. Why do you think in football such stages come often? Many times in the past World Cups, such incidents have happened. Players have revolted and they have been sent back. What kind of a discipline there should be in a team to prevent such happenings?
I think there should be some discipline on this, because when such incident takes place, players also have love for the team. They are also loyal to the nation. Coach also is loyal to the nation, but decision of the coach is final. We have to accept it.
Right.
But even in the heat of the moment, players do speak about to the coach because they want the team to win. Nothing wrong in that.
Okay.
But it's not to personal ego. It should not touch. And secondly, whatever happens in the dressing room should not be leaked out, because finally, all are working for the team. It should not be leaked out to the press and make the mess of it. And I didn't like the way the players later misbehaved. It is not correct on the part, because you are representing a nation. You are representing millions from the nation. Yes. Whether it be our country, it may be a club. It is not good. It's a very bad example.
Savio, as a football administrator, suppose if you have a case like this, how would an administrator react to this, and how would be the damage control to stem the rot?
Well, whenever any of our teams are going out to play at the nationals, the first thing I tell them is discipline. You are the ambassador of Goa. Similarly, these players are like the ambassadors of their country, and what they have done is really very, very bad. They should have sat across the table and discussed about it. These problems were happening earlier years with in the African teams, and mostly it was because of money and because of probably problem in selection and favorite players not being selected. But now I'm very surprised that it had to happen in a European country where their outlook is far more broader.
Right. It's really unfortunate that this has happened, and my sympathies goes to all the French team's fans. Now, a second big team and the defending champions, of course, now they are not defending anymore, the Italians. The Italians have displayed some pathetic football, and perhaps media had not expected Italy to perform any better. What do you think has been the cause, has been the reason for downfall of the Italians at this World Cup?
I think they must have gone with some of the players with names. Of course, reputation, but they must be having their fitness to that level. But they must have taken, see, once I remember a Chinese young girl who came to Asian Games in '86. She was questioned by the reporters. I was present there. And she said, "You see, you're a world champion." She was 14 years. And she said, "What, I'm not a champion. I'm yet to play, complete my tournament, I'll be a champion, if I can be. But till then, I've just come to fight my each game." There should have been attitude of the Italians. It was not there. Until last match, the yesterday's match, I think Italians had to start in the second half that way. Possibly they would have scored even 2 more goals against the opponents.
Okay.
But it was too late for them to recover.
Okay. Now we have most of the results of the groups, and smaller teams have really surprised bigger name teams, highly reputed teams. England is a big country. England gave football to the world, and England has, however, struggled in this World Cup. First 2 games in the group against USA and Algeria, they were really pathetic, isn't it, Xavier?
Yes, and I'm sure England fans would be pretty upset to see that they are placed below the Americans.
Yeah, definitely. Because USA is still struggling to have a foothold for soccer in their country. Yeah. And England is such a big country, having a lot of history, of course, the former champions. But Brahmanand, have you seen really good level of improvement in England in the last match against Slovenia? Are they back?
Yes, I think. I have a few comments from the coach which we have read in the press, which is never expected from England. I think some mental tonic must have been there. Players must have realized the importance of how important it is to play more harder and more with great interest, very hard for the England. I think the way they played, if they go ahead, they have to put in more for the next round against Germany.
Right.
But I think England played better. I think
Okay.
they're coming.
And having said Germany, Germany started with a bang when they thrashed Australia in their first group match. Then they lost to Serbia. It was a big shock for most of the German fans and of course the neutrals. And against Ghana, Ghana sort of dominated the match, didn't they?
Yeah.
They missed a lot of chances though. And why do you think Ghana has not been able to score of as many chances as they have had?
I think they have not utilized the chances when it came in on their way. The very important part is you should be in time. If you delay a bit, nobody will spare you, give you a chance for you further.
Okay.
They have an opportunity where they could strike earlier, which they have not done. Otherwise, physical condition is very good of Ghana. They are very robust. They play well. But that moment, the intelligence, when to and when not to, at the time of finishing is very important. If they come back to that lesson, I think Ghana could do better in the next round.
Right. This is the first World Cup in the African continents, and many people actually expected some African countries to, perform better. But as of now, it's just Ghana that has progressed from group into the knockout stage. Are you a bit disappointed that the teams like Cameroon and maybe Nigeria have not performed well?
Yes, I am very disappointed to see the African teams not doing too well. And normally the African teams are quite highly rated because Africans have been performing well in the leagues all over the world. But unfortunately, when it comes to playing for their country, they seem to disappoint. And in the case of South Africa, I think South Africa was a bit overrated. South Africa have not been performing too well in the African Nation Cup or in any tournaments. But then they were the host, so the expectation was huge from the supporters and the fans. When South Africa played, the entire country came to a standstill. You could not get a place where they had public screenings in the fan fairs. You would never get a place in a restaurant. People who knew nothing about football also just went to the restaurants and watched the match. The expectations were high, but unfortunately, they disappointed the following.
And let us try to read the continental trend that has been on the show in the World Cup. South American teams have sort of played with great flair and kind of cruised through their group phase, whereas Europeans, they look to have kind of struggled. What is the cause, Brahman, with regards to South American brand of football and European brand of football? Is South American football the most appealing and nice to watch?
It's appealing, attractive, and they play 1-2. Plus, they have their individual capacity to display football. It is all attractive, creative. But this time, I found them also not just placing their football on the stage, but they also try to penetrate, score using their individual abilities to get past defenders. That is the most important part of the game, which they are doing it.
Okay.
Which we have not seen in the European level so far in this.
Do you think the European countries are a bit slow, and do you agree to the reason that they have perhaps the most demanding football leagues in the world?
Well, I would not say they are slow. They play very fast soccer. The leagues are very demanding, and probably that's one of the reasons. But then there are South Americans playing also in the European leagues, and they are performing quite well. Most of the South American teams have players playing in the European league. They are doing well. But I think this year has been a year for the American teams. All the South American teams have qualified. North American teams also have qualified.
Yeah.
It's been a year of the Americans.
Right. Now there is a big argument that players who play in the English Premier League are not giving their best at the World Cups. Now we have seen it in the past with the performance of England players and most of the other players who play in the English Premier League. This time also we are seeing Manchester United star Wayne Rooney, of course England striker. He's not been the same Rooney, and on the other side Fernando Torres, who plays in the English Premier League but represents Spain, he's also struggling. Why do you think these big name strikers are struggling so far in the World Cup?
I think the injury must still be, something is being hidden. I feel so, because I don't find Rooney giving his best. Torres is okay to some extent. It's okay, fine, no problem. But I think what happens, especially at the World Cup, once in 4 years, they have to come out with something where the players require some rest, because it's a very demanding league, demanding tournaments. At least 2 months, or at least 1.5 months before, I think they should be spared. They are not spared.
Right. Now, Savio, you have been at the heart of the action. And which team do you think is playing the best football right now in South Africa?
I enjoyed the Argentina match. It was a superb match, and the team seems to be functioning pretty well compared to the pre-tournament build-up, where they struggled, but they seem to be peaking now, and they have been most impressive. Brazil has been also good.
Okay. And Messi is such a star, you know, and everybody is accepted that he is the best football player right now in the world. Are the local South Africans also really talking highly of Messi?
Yes, they are supporting him, but the biggest applaud was for Drogba when he just came off the bench and started warming up. Oh, even the vuvuzelas were drowned.
I see.
The cheering he got from the crowd was fantastic, and all while he was warming up, and when he entered the ground, it was deafening. But I think the whole of Africa is behind Drogba.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell us why North Korea, who gave such a hard time to Brazil, were easily beaten by Portugal?
Let me come to first point. Brazil versus North Korea. It was, the compact defense. Behind every defender, there are two defenders before a Brazilian striker or any of the player. So whoever gets past, there was a follow-up of the defense. It was all compact. Brazil did not have space, and Brazilian strikers did not try to go penetrate through the defenders from the middle, all from the wing. It was just like playing from left to right, right to left, until that goal came from Maicon. Unexpected, surprising try, and ball to the rocket swinging into the net. And then after that goal, Brazil's played their whole business is for let us cool down the game. Then they scored another one. But against Portugal, I found there were a lot of spaces available for Ronaldo, Thiago, and others to function, and they were really functioning very better in there, and they found the gaps.
Okay.
And Portuguese is such a team. I'm telling you, they are not. They are also a very good side, very tough side in the competition now. I can tell you, they're coming up into this, and that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
So maybe these big teams are peaking at the perhaps the right time. Maybe Portugal, maybe Spain, maybe England. They should lift themselves up and look up to progress far ahead in the tournament. Now, England versus Germany is, I think, the one of the most intriguing matchups at this World Cup as of now. Guys, Brahmanand, what's your prediction of England versus Germany last 16 clash on Sunday?
Yeah, Germans are still are into their minds. They still those 66 World Cup goal is still there. They're still boiling over that issue. And if they think of that, definitely they'll think on that issue on that day. And Germans will be little up as performance is concerned. Leave the results to the Almighty. But I think Germany will definitely give a harder fight to England.
And Savio, what do you think?
My heart is for England, but I think it's going to be a draw and probably go into the extra time and tiebreaker.
My goodness. A little piece of statistic here. England have played Germany on 4 previous occasions at the World Cup finals, but have beaten them only once. That was 4-2 in the famous 1966 Wembley final. The last time England and Germany met was in the 1990 semi-final, when England were beaten 4-3 on penalties. I think penalties, the tiebreaker, has proved to be a big stumbling block for England. And I hope it doesn't happen again. And most of the England fans may think so. But do you think England is a matchup for Germany? I mean, England have shown that they have class, but what about their form?
Well, on paper it's a good team, but let's see. I think they'll do well against Germany because they will fight, and they've shown their fighting qualities in the last match.
Right. And Brahmanan, if you see Germany, they started well, but their standard have gone down. Is it due to their inexperience? Because I believe they are fielding the second youngest side of this tournament. Is it? Are they too inexperienced according to you?
No, I think the second match has done against them because of exit of Klose.
Okay.
I think that was, I cannot say Germany, but otherwise you look at the passes, the performance of Germany, so the precise passing, the defending and attack, they are good, I'm telling you.
Okay. That is all the time we have on this show. Thanks Savio Messias, thanks Brahmanan Shankwarkar for being a part of this show. Keep watching Prudent Media. I'll be back next week. Goodbye.